Hello everyone, and welcome back to Code Relays. It's been quite a while since my last video, and I apologize. We're going to be going down Lupin's new story now. The kids have camp on Friday, and it's been a really busy week. And then they're going to be getting on an airplane and flying to their grandmother's house right after that. So, busy week. Let's see, we're going to go to a new game, Cardia. Yes, after story, Lupin.
あの日、俺が盗み出したのは愛を求めた一人の少女だった。花を枯らし人を殺める猛毒の宝石を胸に宿して、自らを怪物と呼んだ少女は暗闇の中で一人膝を抱えていた。
That's not actually how he found her.
人形のように整った顔にはほんの一片の微笑もなく、ガラスのように透き通る瞳には何の感情も映していない。まるで自らの感情を胸の宝石に押し込めているかのように。俺が手を差し伸べたあの日、あいつはそんな言葉を口にした。あえて叶えるまでもないようなほんの些細でちっぽけな願いだが、猛毒の身を持つあいつにとっちゃ文字通り手が届くことのない願いだからこそ、俺はこの願いを全力で叶えてやろうと思った。ああ、そうさ。結局のところ、俺は見ていられなかったんだ。一人の泥棒紳士として、一人の男として、この麗しきレディが人形のように孤独に膝を抱えている様を。だから誰も愛してはいけない悲しみも、人のぬくもりに触れられない孤独も、すべてこの手で奪い去ってやると決めた。この華麗なる泥棒紳士アルセーヌ・ルパンの名にかけて。カルディア、今お前の願い叶えるぜ。抱きしめ合ってぬくもりを知った。唇で触れ合って愛を知った。かつて孤独に膝を抱えた猛毒の少女はもうどこにもいない。今ここにいるのは怪物なんかじゃなく、俺にとって何よりも愛しい大切な宝物なのだから。
Oh my gosh, just the way he said all that, it just makes your heart melt. It's like a fairy tale. uh, but yeah, he didn't beat her with her knees all drawn up in a mansion. He rescued her from her captors. Lionheart. They had already taken her out, as far as I know. But whatever. Morning light dances on my closed lids. Hmm. The sun was warm and bright. Echoing birdsong heralded the arrival of another new day. Lifting slowly out of bed, I quietly massaged the haze of sleep from my eyes. What time did I fall asleep last night? Someone else is still asleep. I remember taking tea with Lupin, sharing conversation in our room. And then he kissed me so fondly. Shaking off the remnants of half-remembered dreams, I look about the room to find... My gaze lights upon Lupin, his soft, steady breathing, making it clear he's still asleep. His serene, almost vulnerable visage was quite at odds with his waking demeanor. So precious. Words that would earn me a more than stern look had Lupin been awake came unbidden. Gingerly caressing the wild tangle of his sleep-tousled hair, I sat up in silence. Only a few days had passed since our wedding. A wish I never dared dream might actually come true. In time, we hoped to find our own home, a place the two of us might share our lives together. But for the moment, we continued to rely on the kindness of Saint Germain, boarding at his opulent mansion. Sometimes I feel so happy, I can't help but wonder if this is all a dream. I smile down at Lupin and can't help but see my own chest as I do. Only 6 short months ago, my body was tainted by the most deadly of poisons. It had been generated by my artificial heart, the horologium, glittering a frigid blue. Although the gem remained, no longer did it shine a piercing deadly azure. This morning it sparkled in a newly risen sun, reflecting and refracting a pure white light like a wedding dress. Regarding myself in the bedside mirror, I extended a hand towards my reflection. Lightly tracing the image of my cheeks with a fingertip, I touched the wooden frame. I allowed my hand to linger with some trepidation, applying more pressure. Thank goodness it's not melting. An undeniable fact, I sighed in relief. Just then.
何が良かったって
What? His hands were quicker than the eye. Gently he draws me into his embrace. In the space of a single breath, I am enveloped in Lupin's warmth. Lupin, you were awake?
ああ、たった今な。
You can't sneak away from him.
たく、こんなにいい男が隣に寝てるんだぜ。どうせ触るなら、こっちに触れて確かめろって。
But if there's any poison left in me...
今さら何言ってんだよ。一晩中、同じベッドにいただろ。
Yeah, I'm sure it's far too late for that. Yes, but... Even now, my fears refuse to abate. Last night passed without incident, but what about today? And if nothing happens today, what about tomorrow? Concern must have shown on my face. Lupin chuckles softly at this, eyes agleam.
そんな顔するなって。
He looks so cute, half asleep.
それでは、この泥棒紳士めが姫様の不安を拭い去ってご覧に入れましょう。
Lupin gently brushes his lips against my cheek, the hint of a smile flitting about the corners of his mouth. Feigning worry, his kisses tentatively guide along my face, dance across my ears, and come to rest at the nape of my neck. Oh my. The master thief makes me shudder, teasing me with the lightest of kisses. A peck here, a nibble there. Lupin's eyes twinkle with mischief. Did you get enough last night? Like, come on. Feeling a bit feverish and lightheaded, it's all I can do to resist his advances.
なあ、大丈夫だったろ?
That's cute. Really, Lupin? He simply looks at me wearing a mirthful grin, as was his default expression. Flustered and ticklish, I find that my tongue has caught in my throat. Lupin's bright, ever-present smile remained, almost frustrating in its deliberate calm.
なんだよ。 真っ赤じゃねえか。
That's just what happens when a girl gets ambushed with kisses, especially when you're doing the ambushing. The sweet touch love radiates from his skin like a furnace warming me to the core. Arsene Lupin, dashing gentleman thief, the man who granted my wish. A desire was to be by his side has only grown more profound since we wed. What felt like a goal was in fact only the beginning. But Lupin, you know very well we always end up sleeping together. Why can't you just stay in my room? Skulking in like a thief at ungodly hours, waking up to see you looming over me. It can't be good for my heart. That's why I thought I remember him. He doesn't go to bed with her, he just sneaks in later. That's funny.
まあ寝室一緒にしてもいいけどな。それじゃ刺激がねえだろ。忘れちゃ困るぜ、カルディア。俺は泥棒紳士、アルセーヌ・ルパン。
Yeah, but a gentleman went sneaking in the middle of the night, right?
お前のその寝顔も驚く顔も俺にとっては何よりのお宝なんだ。それを忍び込んで手中に収めてこそ華麗なる泥棒紳士ってもんだ。
Sneaking into a lady's bedchamber hardly conduct becoming of a gentleman, I know, right? Despite his japes, Lupin is right about one thing. The nightly prospect of spontaneous visits sets my heart aflutter. You go to bed not knowing if your husband's gonna like sneak in the middle of the night and wake you up. Funny. I'd be anxious every single night. I wouldn't be able to fall asleep. Sometimes I stay awake, waiting in vain for a man who never comes. Some mornings I wake to discover his lips met mine as I slept. Yeah, see, I'd stay awake all the time too. I swear to myself I'll put a stop to his shenanigans some days, yet never seem to be able to. I suppose I'm a fool in love. Anyway, I really have to get up now. I'm making breakfast today and...
逃がさねえぞ。
Is that done with you yet? Lupin?
他の男のところになんて行かせねえぞ。お前は俺のだ、カルディア。
She's just going to the kitchen. You're not awake yet, are you?
起きてる起きてる。だからほら、お前ももう5分だけ。
You are not awake. He caresses my hair, whispering sweet nothings. The soothing rhythms of his voice, the expert touch of his dexterous hands, I felt my eyelids growing heavy. Here was a man who stole my heart. He could just put you to sleep. The man who granted my greatest wish. I was a monster, yet he gave me purpose, brought me happiness, and proved that love is real. There's no use denying it. My heart has belonged to Lupin ever since that day, that moment. The heat of his embrace brings me out of my reverie. So warm, so comforting. Staying a little longer couldn't hurt. And back to sleep you go. When I woke for the second time that day, the sun had already hung high in the sky. Lupin's continued pleas for 5 more minutes were tempting, but I finally managed to extricate myself. I thought he'd get it before you. Lupin went back to his own room to change. Still a bit lightheaded, I exchanged my own garments and stepped out into the hall. I was meant to have risen much earlier to help prepare breakfast for the household. Household? You mean Cece? But when Lupin sets his mind on something, he gets it. I'm powerless to resist. Tomorrow, he'll finally get what's coming to him. You can put up a fight, girl. No, you can't. Only then did I notice St. Germain at the far end of the hallway. I must have looked a fool, mumbling and shaking my fist. Oh? Okay, so there is other people in the house then. I guess that's why Lupin didn't want to let you go. He's got to keep an eye on you. Good morning, St. Germain.
もうおはようではなくこんにちはの時間ですよ、カルディアさん。 なかなかいらっしゃらないから起こしに行こうかと。
You'd have to go against Lupin. I beg your pardon. I overslept a bit. No, you didn't. I flushed, no longer able to meet Saint Germain's intent stare. Saint Germain, what are you looking at? Did the sheets leave marks on my face?
いえ、よく見ると頬に唇の跡が。
I was gonna say, he probably sees other marks. What? I had my cheek reflexively. Saint Germain only smiled, seeming to enjoy a private joke as I scrub up my face.
冗談ですよ。
Regardless, though, I think men just enjoy leaving their marks on their women. I know mine does. And not a very funny one.
ああ、でもその慌てぶり、ひょっとして何か心当たりでも？実際のところはわかりませんが、ルパンならやりかねませんね。
I know he's gotta let everyone know that you're his. Neither would I. It wouldn't be the first time he's managed to steal into my room and kiss me unawares. Unawares. That would be awful. I'd be mortified if I left my room without noticing. Saint Germain laughed aloud at this. I must have sounded sulky. Let's all laugh at the silly little girl.
ああ、いえ、すみません。ずいぶん幸せな悩みだと思いまして。
I do keep my blessings counted, but I am a complete pushover when it comes to Lupin, and that worries me.
おや、そうですか？とても楽しそうに見えますがね。
I suppose, but I've never been able to stand up to him. I'm just not ready for some of the things he wants. What does he want? Like this morning, for example. I think he held up just fine. Lupin dragging me back into bed even though he knew I had chores to attend to. The memory is still very fresh.
いいではありませんか。愛されている証拠とも言えますし。
I know he does, but I feel a bit out of sorts. What worries me is letting him have so much control. That's the issue. I can't say I entirely dislike it, but it can be a bother. No, bother might not be the right word. Frustration, perhaps.
愛されているだけでは自分で納得がいかないと。
Yes, I seem to be the only one this happy to be loved. Sometimes something doesn't sit right with me about it. It's too one-sided.
そういう愛の形もあると思いますが。
Germain folds his arms, lost in thought. At length, he seemed to find the right words.
やられっぱなしが困るのであれば反撃に出てみては？
Me? Go against Lupin? The thought of defying him was utterly alien. I couldn't begin to imagine it. As I stand there considering, Saint Germain's face splits into a mischievous grin.
目には目を、歯には歯をです。ルパンがあなたのハートを盗んだなら、今度はあなたがルパンのハートを盗むというのはどうでしょう？
So was everything that I remember in this all Saint Germain's idea? That's funny.
ルパンのハートを盗む。
Saint Germain's exact words. He thinks it's the perfect opportunity to give Lupin a taste of his own medicine. Victor had come for my checkup, arriving while the brightest sunlight of the day still flooded the drawing room. Even after his return to the Royal Society, Victor still called regularly at the mansion to monitor my physical condition. I'm thankful, and it means a lot to me.
よし、大丈夫そうだね。ホロロギウムも安定してるし、君の体も健康そのものだ。
I'm glad, thank you, Victor.
どういたしまして。それで、さっきの話だけど、どうしてそんなことに？
Well, I fill Victor in on all that's happened. My story made him blush and fidget. He seemed to be giving my predicament serious thought. Victor can't handle the intimacy.
そっか。つまり伯爵が言いたいのは、ルパンをもっと君に惚れさせちゃえってこと？
Yeah, I thought this came to her because she wanted to see Lupin blush because she's never seen him blush before, but it's also Saint Germain's fault. That's funny. I think that's what he meant. The more I ponder Lupin, the more convinced I am that Saint Germain had it right. I still can't be near him without my heart galloping like a racehorse, but the Master Thief himself, cool as winter frost. Okay, so this is where she thought about it more deeply and was like, you know what? He's never embarrassed or anything when I'm around. Not fair, no matter how I try to justify things. First of all, it just stings. I swore an oath on our wedding day to win his heart over completely. Now I'm worried I may never be able to keep it. So yes, it stings. I want to make Lupin come over all red, see how he likes it. I'd balled my hand into fist without even realizing it. I could count on one hand the number of times I'd been this dead set on something, but then... Am I missing something? Saint Germain acted the same way.
ごめん。ほんと、なんていうかね。可愛い悩みだなと思って。
Cute?
すごく女の子らしいと思う。今の君はごく普通の恋する女の子だ。
Me, a perfectly normal girl? Fretting and worrying like this is normal? I'm glad to hear it, but now I mustn't get sidetracked. Normal or not, it is a concern. All well and good, but I still have no idea what to do. We're talking about Lupin. Getting him to care even more for me, I'd have better chances turning lead to gold.
そうだね。僕も恋愛とか詳しいわけじゃないし。そうしょんぼりしないで、カルディア。僕の方でも考えてみるし、他の人にも聞いたりしてみるから。
Are you sure?
このくらいなんでもないよ。君の幸せの手伝いができるならね。
Thank you, Victor. Let me know if inspiration strikes. I'll try to come up with a few different approaches myself. I feel that much more confident with one more person on my side, and so I begin to ponder my next move with renewed determination. Buckingham Palace courtyard on the eve of the same day. Looks like it's someone else's perspective. Yep, Van Helsing. Dracula II and Van Helsing paused to catch their breath after ushering members of the nobility from the palace.
よし、今ので全員か。
まったく肩が凝ったぞ。会議や会談というのはどうにもなれん。
そう案じなくてもいい。十分に対応できていたぞ。貴族たちもまるで孫を見る祖父のような目をしていた。
当然ではないか。何しろ世は誇り高き吸血鬼の。って待てい！褒めているようで褒めてないぞそれ。
最大限の賛辞のつもりだが。
本気で言っているとしたら貴様は人を褒めるの下手すぎだな。まあもっとも貴様が世を褒めるなど以前は考えられもしなかったがな。
違いない。
The odd pair notice a shadow near the entry gate and their awkward laughter quickly dies out. As the figure approaches, the two exchange a glance. It is someone they know well.
あれはフランか。
Oh.
バン、トラちゃん。よかった。間に合った。
おお、フランではないか。ルパンたちの結婚式以来だな。
そんなに息を切らしてどうした？気球の知らせか？
いや、二人が宮殿に来るって聞いたから会えるんじゃないかと思ってさ。でも二人はどうしてここに？何か用事でもあったの？
実はイギリス政府と折衝を続けていた吸血鬼保護政策案が良い形でまとまりそうでな。
まとまりそうというのは早計だが、政策に賛成派の上層部が増えているのは確かだ。
へえ、すごいじゃないか。ちゃんと進んでるんだね。
吸血鬼擁護派であるレンフィールド公爵の力添えあってこそだ。それとあとは
Dracula glances at Van Helsing and just as quickly turns away.
こやつの貢献も認めざるを得ぬ。自ら吸血鬼戦争の真実を語り、貴族に働きかけてくれたからな。
バンが自分から吸血鬼戦争のことを？
当然の義務だ。協力すると言った以上、有利な情報は惜しまず提供する。
Of course, Victor was not privy to all that had transpired in Van Helsing's past. It was clear from the man's demeanor that he was haunted by history. Victor could not guess at the horrors Van Helsing had known. And yet, the erstwhile vampire hunter had offered up details he had never before spoken aloud, let alone in a court of law. Victor realized then that something inside his friend had fundamentally changed.
そっか。僕も逃げるわけにはいかないね。ドラちゃん、何かあったら言ってね。あの戦争は僕にも関係がある。できる限りのことはさせてもらうよ。
The creator of Zicterium.
ありがたい。その時には存分に頼らせてもらおう。
Dracula II's grin was as boyish as ever, but the air of growing maturity about him was unmistakable. Van Helsing remained silent, jaw set in an unplaceable line. He may or may not have given Victor a nod. It was hard to be sure.
ところでなんだけど、もうちょっとだけ時間いいかな？
構わんが、どうしたというのだ？
実はね。
Victor's eyes darted about, ensuring no potential eavesdroppers could overhear. If what he was about to say reached the ears of someone like Lionheart, it would draw unwanted attention indeed. Oh.
なんだと？あの新婚夫婦が早速こじれて、
I knew it was going to be about Cardia, but why would Lionheart care? Whatever.
落ち着け。今の話を聞く限りでは別に喧嘩ではないのだろ
う。まあそうだね。深刻な問題っていうよりは可愛らしい悩みというか。ルパンばっかりずるいって頑張ろうとしてる感じだからね。
どう思う？ヘルシング。
なぜよりによって私に振る。
I know. He's like the least inclined to know anything romantic. And Helsing shrugs it differently and continues in a terribly measured tone.
深刻でないなら放っておけばいい。そもそもお前らはあいつに対して過保護すぎる。
Mollycoddle.
いやまあ、そう言われるとこっちは返す言葉もないけどさ。
二人の幸せは我らの幸せ。少しぐらい考えてやってもいいではないか。仲間がいのないやつめ。
知らん。そんなことに私を巻き込むな。もっと他に適任がいるだろう。
もういい。貴様に話を振った世が悪かった。貴様に聞くぐらいなら伯爵やいっそインビーあたりに聞く方がはるかにマシというものだ。
なんだと？
Van Helsing narrows his eyes, staring daggers.
引き捨てならんな。伯爵はともかく、インピーの方が私よりもマシだと。
In the matters of love, yes.
いや、
よせよせフラン、かばう必要などない。そもそもこの牧年人に男女の心の機微などわかるはずがないのだ。
What do you know about it? You're like, oh.
いいだろう。ルパンのやつを惚れさせればいいのだな。
うわバンの目が座ってる。
I just noticed the look he was giving. That's funny. It was clear Van Helsing could not abide being compared to the Laissez-faire bee. I don't know how to say that. Satisfied, he draws the corners of his mouth up into a smile. Oh no. The smile so cold it could give a man frostbite in midsummer.
おお、言うからにはヘルシング、何か明暗はあるのだろうな。
古来より男女の仲は共通の苦難を乗り越えた時により深まるものだと聞いたことがある。事実、私の戦友にも戦火の果てに結ばれた者たちがいたからな。
本当か？そう単純なものでも。
うん。いや、バンの言うことにも一理あるような気がするよ。実はこの前、ある論文で見かけたんだけど、危機的状況に陥った時の緊張状態は、恋愛過程の精神状態とかなり近いらしくてさ。
Trauma-induced stress.
それをもとに、感情を錯覚する可能性すらあるって仮説が出たくらいなんだ。まだ実証も何もされていないけど、なんとなく納得がいく話じゃない？
つまりどういうことだ？もっとわかりやすく言ってくれ。
Or a small child.
ああ、ピンチのドキドキと恋のドキドキって似てない？
なるほど。
After groaning throughout Victor's abstract ramble, the young king punctuates this new understanding with a clap of his hands.
要は二人を無理やりにでもドキドキさせてやればよいのだな。
What does that mean?
そうだけど、そうじゃないというか。
I don't know that phrase.
なるほど。そういうことならば任せておけ。
Oh
私に明
no.
暗がある。
He's got that look on his face.
もちろん世にもあるぞ。
本当に二人ともすごっ。
Is it their idea to do the thing?
やはりここは猛獣か？
Oh my goodness.
そしてとどめは爆発だな。
Nope, you guys are hopeless.
ちょっと二人とも何かすごい誤解してない？
なに問題ないだろう。よし、ではいざ行かん。ルパンたちのもとへ。
Now in good spirits, Van Helsing and Dracula the second stride off merrily. In a very different mood, Victor rushes to follow, worry gnawing in the pit of his stomach. Yeah, if they don't get it at all. Don't go to them. Later that night, I sat fretting in my room. By this hour, I should have been snug in a nightgown, but my racing mind kept me wide awake. Early in the day, I had boldly declared my intention to consider new approaches, and so I was revisiting ideas endlessly. Surprise him with a sneak attack hug, prepare a home-cooked feast, scare him out of his wits with a shout, try on a whole new ensemble. I go around and around in circles, but the key to stealing Lupin's heart remains as elusive as ever. Dead ends, however, I find in abundance. How does Lupin make it seem so effortless? He can set my heart pounding without even lifting a finger. It's just not fair. I grumble inside, glancing at the clock. There's no rhyme or reason to what hour Lupin chooses to come calling. Sometimes he comes while I'm still awake. Sometimes he slips stealthily beneath my covers long after I've retired. But if it is to be an early call tonight, this would be the hour he comes sauntering in. So I may not be able to fluster him or make his heart rumble like a steam engine. He will not be getting his way tonight. Oh my goodness. I'll get some good sleep, wake up early, get everything in order, and cook a proper breakfast. But then, having decided on my course of action, Lupin, tonight isn't going to. Silent as a church mouse, Lupin closes the door behind him and wordlessly places the index finger against my protesting lips.
喋んな。
Is something amiss? That's all it took. In a half of a heartbeat, my stoic commitment melted away. Lupin's gentle touch freezes me where I stood. I swore I wouldn't let him take things so quickly. Hardly able to stand the rhythm of my own heart pulsating throughout my body, I could do nothing but wait for his next move. Wrong. But Lupin's usual lusty grin was nowhere to be seen, his face a portrait of intensely focused awareness. Is something, amiss?
中庭に人の気配がある。3じゃねえ。おそらく複数だ。
I think I know what's going on. Who are they?
さあな。だが、警戒しながらこっちに近づいてきてることからして、どうも平穏な雰囲気じゃなさそうだ。
Oh no. How could anyone get inside the mansion walls with you and St. Germain here, let alone a group of them? My rapid pulse undergoes an unexpected key change. Melody becomes dissonance.
さて、俺の一番弟子。こういう時はどうするか、ちゃんと覚えてるか？
They can't know we're onto them yet. We leverage that advantage, make sure we know exactly what we're dealing with. Other ideas come to mind, but whatever our next move, know thy enemy.
正解だ。気配の殺し方、ちゃんと覚えてるな。
We minimized, we dampened, and approached the bedroom window. Pressed flat against the wall to conceal our shadows from the intruders below, we peer into the courtyard. Darkness infested the garden's perimeter, dancing hither and yon as if to escape the glass lamp's glare. Familiar sensations, absent for half a year, come rushing back, our hearth crackling in the air, portents of battle soon to unfold. Squinting at the impenetrable blackness, I will myself to remember my training.
見えてきたか？
Almost, I'm getting there. As my eyes adjust, shapes darker than the surrounding gloom fade gradually into view. Two of them. There, artfully concealed within the sea of shadows, two silhouettes of surpassing strangeness. Twilight soldiers. Bizarre masked figures in half-cloaks, beaks jutting forth like birds of prey. There was no mistaking these men. We had faced many of their ilk, agents of the organization that tried to capture me, to kill me. Agents of Twilight. A special task force within the government of the United Kingdom specializing in intelligence, espionage, and worse. 6 months ago, Twilight instigated a failed coup de grace masterminded by their leader, Finnis. Twilight was dissolved half a year ago. How can they possibly be here and now?
さあな。復讐か、裏があるのか。今んとこ見当もつかねえが、ろくなことじゃねえだろうな。
Could realize an unthinkable genocidal Twilight initiative orchestrated in utmost secrecy, but now a footnote in history. I think of confronting Father aboard the flying fortress Nautilus, the struggle for the Horologium, and by extension my life. Yet when the Nautilus was finally dashed to pieces, so too was Father's main body, my only brother, Finnis, everything. What is it, Lupin? Lupin had done nothing but affectionately tousle my hair, but the unexpected gesture nearly induced a panic attack.
悪いが、感傷に浸るのは後だ。
I know, I'm alright. Forcing my melancholic musings aside, I survey the courtyard again. Sure enough, the Twilight soldiers hold their position.
すぐに侵入してくるかと思ったが、連中、動く気配がねえな。
Waiting for an opportune moment, perhaps?
もしくは、俺たちが見てることに気づいて、あえて動かないようにしてるかだ。
Either way, we can't afford to lose the upper hand. I take a deep breath, sitting beside Lupin and preparing for whatever may lie ahead. What are our options, Lupin?
奴らの目的が何にしたって、人様の家に堂々と上がり込んできたのを放っておくわけにはいかねえよ。とっ捕まえて問い詰める。やれるか？
You know I am. No more words are spoken. We exchange nods and pad slightly out of the bedchamber. We sprint along the length of the deserted hallway. We can only confirm 2 specific threats. Cardia may yet have reinforcements waiting in the wings, but Lupin and I should be able to dispatch a small group. Armed with intimate knowledge of the old mansion's layout, home field advantage is ours. We needn't risk a frontal assault. Run. Stop. Quiet. Lupin makes points, moving like a cat through a maze of hallways, directing me with his eyes and gestures alone. Soon after spiriting me away, Lupin took me as an apprentice of sorts. Hand signals were one of his many invaluable skills. And now here in the dark hallways, his elaborate gestures seem to both guide me along and pull my senses back to the floor. I doubt much of the sheer physical strength granted me by the poisonous horologium remains, but the skills and techniques Lupin and the others taught me have not lost their edge. She laughing at us.
なんだよ。急に笑ったりして。
Sorry, Lupin. It just popped out. Skulking through the halls like this, it suddenly reminded me of the old days.
昔っていうほど昔じゃねえだろ。ほんの半年前だぜ。でもまあ、懐かしいのは確かか。今考えても相当無茶したしな。
Says the most reckless of all of us. You can't imagine how worried I was back then.
そりゃお互い様だ。
I couldn't help but close my eyes for a moment and cast my memories back. My non-life in Wales was like a broken clock, hands frozen in time. I experienced more in the brief few weeks following Lupin's escape with me to London than I had during my entire time there. I felt like an automobile chugging away at full tilt, scarcely a moment to breathe.
俺もまさかお前の手を取った時はあんな大事になるとは思わなかったぜ。あれは泥棒紳士アルセーヌ・ルパンの人生でも間違いなく最大の冒険だったな。
Maybe, but it was amazing how grounded you were, how completely dependable. You never lost your cool.
そう思ってくれたんなら上々。冷静に見えてなきゃ泥棒は失格だ。
I know, even though he was scared multiple times.
ま、今だから懐かしがって語れるけどな。ギリギリの状況だって何度もあったさ。それこそあの数ヶ月で何年分も年取っちまった気がするぜ。
I know, it's the same for me too. We owe our current selves, who we are, to those days of adventure. Every event, good and bad, had to happen. Lost in thoughts of the past, I barely register Lupin narrow his eyes, intent on something ahead.
と思い出語りしてる間に動き出したぞ。
I listen carefully. The faint sound of footfalls further down the hall tickles my eardrums. 1, no 2. One of them was more adept than his companion at moving silently, but there could be no doubt. I imagine Lupin can hear them much clearer than I.
屋敷の中だ。派手にぶちかますのはできるだけ避けてえとこだが。
Let me take care of them. It won't be my first dance with a Twilight operative.
よく言った。頼れるね。
The sound of footsteps draw closer. Enemies. It had been 6 months. I feel butterflies in my stomach.
よし。なら俺が先に出て注意を引く。お前はその隙をついてくれ。初手で仕留められりゃいいが、外した場合、俺がフォローする。
Got it. I'm ready when you are. We quietly advanced to the T-junction at the end of the hallway, each of us taking position in the niches to the left and right. Lupin smoothly produces his stick, balancing on the balls of his feet to spring forward and deliver a split-second attack. His magic cane. Just as two shadows pierce the silver light of the moon, Lupin hurtles forward so quickly his legs seem spring-loaded.
くらいの
Eat stick. Lupin delivers a devastating blow, but the Twilight Soldier twists in superhuman fashion, flowing into an acrobatic kick. Lupin wears a blank look of shock. His trademark weapon burst from his hands before he could activate his mechanism.
おいおい、今のをしのぐのかよ。
Lupin, move. I counter with a chop. The soldier's still off balance from his flying kick, but... Whoa. The Twilight Operative whips his hand down flat on my shoulders, frog leaping over me to join his partner. No, am I that rusty?
いや、違うな。こいつが普通じゃねえだけだ。
Lupin glared at the unusual soldier. His expression betrayed a state of heightened caution, perhaps even suspicion. Utterly transfixed by this strange tableau, I forgot even to breathe. It certainly feels like these men are the only intruders. I sense no other hostile presence nearby, but it happened in a split second. The agent who seemed to be ranking officer leaned towards Lupin and closed the space between them faster than the eye could see. Lupin avoids the soldier's fist by a hair's breadth, only to bear the full brunt of a vicious shoulder tackle an instant later. Lupin! I was able to break Lupin's fall from behind and glowered at the Twilight soldiers peering over his shoulder. What are you here for? Vengeance for Twilight, the Horologium, or something else entirely?
目的は
You sound like Victor.
愛だ。
Oh my goodness. Come again?
やっぱりてめえは
Just then. Lupin's imminent diatribe was cut short by the pitter-patter of little feet clacking down the hallway. CC, stay back. Thoroughly ignoring my command to heal, CC barrels through the hall and smashes into the younger soldier at top speed. Despite CC's valiant gambit, the soldier only stumbles, snaring CC in his grip. CC!
己よりはるかに巨大な相手に臆さず飛びかかるとは。この犬の方がよほど勇敢な騎士だな。泥棒紳士、アルセーヌ・ルパン。
You're not fooling us, Van Helsing.
いきなり出てきて言ってくれるじゃねえか。黄昏兵。一体何の用だ？
我々の用向きなど今更問うまでもないだろう。その娘を渡してもらおうか。
I'm pretty sure Lupin knows it's them.
ふざけんな。誰がお前らになんか渡すかよ。
Lupin pulls me close, his voice strident and fearless.
いいか？よく聞け。カルディアは俺の女だ。世界で一番愛しい俺の宝物だ。こいつの一番の笑顔も一番可愛い顔も全部俺のもの。 誰が相手だろうと。それこそルパン一味の仲間が相手でも絶対に渡さねえ。絶対にな。
Is he just putting on an act just for show? Oh, she blushed. I feel heat blooming on my cheeks. In what may very well be a life or death situation, Lupin remains as self-assured as ever. Then thinking back, I realize this is the man he's always been. He said members of his own gang. Are you not going to pick up on that? No matter what the obstacle, no matter what dire circumstances he may find himself in, Lupin's belief would never be swayed.
だろ、カルディア。
Someone aghast he can manage such a confident grin. I can do little but violently shake my head no. You know, I'll cherish those words forever, but we're virtually defenseless, and who knows what CC is.
心配いらねえよ。ほら、シシを見てみな。
Lupin nonchalantly points to the junior officer who has CC locked in some sort of death grip, thrashing and struggling. Huh? That bark doesn't sound like a struggle.
なあ、シシ、ちょっとそんなに動かないでよ。
It almost seems like he's playing. CC seems perfectly calm in the younger age's arms, lapping contentedly away at the freakish bird mask. Wait a minute. Just a few minutes ago, I didn't feel like CC had been caught, more like he leapt into the soldier's arms on purpose.
さーて、そんじゃ種明かしの時間だな。
The bit takes off like a shot, dashing at the soldier head on. The battle is back on in the blink of an eye. Strangely, Lupin begins to rummage through his pockets. Stranger still, the Twilight soldier seems to respond by doing the same. I never did find out who had been the faster draw. The two combatants stand perfectly still, each with an index finger cocked at the other's head.
何の真似だ、アルセーヌ・ルパン。それで私を倒すつもりか。
そりゃこっちのセリフだ、黄昏兵。ご自慢のショットガンはどうしたよ。
気づいていたのか。
Well, it's kind of obvious if you don't mask your voice. With a bemused chuckle, the Twilight soldier grasps his mask and lifts it off. Underneath was a face I knew well. Van Helsing?
想定ではもう少し粘るつもりだったのだが、ま、当初の目的は果たした。問題ないだろう。
Van Helsing's accomplice emerged, CC in tow. A muffled half laugh, half sigh drifted from the general area of his beak. He removed his own mask, and there was another face I knew quite well indeed.
というかむしろやりすぎなくらいだけどね。
Victor, you were in on it too? I can't imagine what purpose this was meant to serve. Van Helsing and Victor had cast off Twilight's grotesque military garb and were back in familiar attire. Lupin glared at them in silence, cracking his knuckles as he paced back and forth. At length he opened his mouth to speak.
で、バンにフラン、どういうつもりか説明してもらおうか。
その言っても怒らない？
ああ、もちろんだ。納得できる理由なら手は出さねえぜ。
Don't trust him. Look at that face.
それ納得できなかったら殴るってことですかね？
Victor seems so frazzled by the idea I can barely look at him. Quickly, I seize the moment and interrupt. My main question here is, why would you ever impersonate Twilight?
ああ、それは
One of Lupin's big enemies?
お前たちの仲を深めるため我々が一肌脱いでやったのだ。
It was to Deli to just pop in and just speak plainly about their whole intention. I don't know why or how, but Deli somehow joined us by dropping down from the ceiling in the vampire bat style. Deli?
夜分にすまぬな二人とも。 息災のようで何よりだ。
Thank you.
なんだよ、ドラちゃんまで噛んでたのか。つうか、仲を深めるためになんでわざわざ黄昏の格好で襲撃してくる必要があんだよ。途中で正体に気づいたからいいものの、こちとら全力でぶっ飛ばすつもりだったんだぞ。
臨場感があったならば何よりだな。
だからなんでそうなったかを聞いてんだよ。
Van Helsing, I need to know too, what could have possibly brought this to bear?
フランから話を聞いた。お前たちの仲をより深めるには命の危機に追い込む必要があるとな。
I don't think it got quite to life or death trauma. Life or death trauma? Victor?
違うんだよ。だからそんな目で見ないで。確かに仲を深めるための方法として戦場の緊張感がとは言ったけど、2人がすごい勢いで誤解しちゃって。
何が違うというのだ。世の立てた計画は完璧だったろ。
So
どうやらフランとドラちゃんたちの間で埋めがたい何かがあるらしいな。
No kidding.
それでどうだ、仲はより深まったか。
He just bluntly asked them, so did it work?
そもそもお前らに心配されるようなことはみじんもないっつうの。俺たちは十分ラブラブだ。つうか、なんでむしろそのイカれた計画をやろうと思った？おかしいと思わなかったのかよ。
なーに？世の計画の何がおかしいというのだ。
Watching his three friends argue almost joyfully, Victor spoke up wearing an exhausted half grin.
ごめんね。止められなくて。
I don't think you could have stopped Van Helsing. Gosh, Victor, it's probably not even your fault, but you definitely chose the wrong gentleman to confide in.
そう言ってもらえるとちょっと救われるかな。
Slightly less awful. Despite my lightening the mood a bit, Lupin continued to scold Van Helsing and Deli with typical rever. I listened patiently, letting him grandstand as I rubbed my sleepy eyes. Alas, one more day I failed to steal Lupin's heart. So now they're going to probably ask MP. Actually, Saint Germain has the best one in my opinion. But anyway, we're going to stop here for today. It's over an hour and I want to edit this and get it out. So that way we have a video to watch and it's 1:15. She just can't stand the thought of Lupin being so composed all the time, and she must make his heart race, make him blush, make him want her more. She has to see it. But yeah, if you guys did enjoy, I would appreciate a thumbs up down below, and/or subscribe if you want to see the rest of Code Realize and Cupid Parasite, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.